You the color ochre. Hey, Van Fangs, Lil Shannon Brown Stoker.
Alright, so I'm gonna show you how to make frame glitches. So the first one will just be a very simple one with invert. Use maybe S invert. Doesn't matter that much. You could try to do something with the channel invert. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm just gonna animate all of these, and I also put the invert thread on. And I'm starting the effect on the second frame, so right here. So we're gonna disable everything here on the first frame. Second frame it'll be on, and disable everything after that also. So it goes like that. And then we're gonna maybe we just want to do one of these. Now let's do both. So this is just a normal invert. When you have the invert luma and invert chrome on, like that, and we're gonna disable it again. So it just flickers like that. I think that's the easiest way to think of like one framers. That it just needs to flicker, so you have something bright and or dark, then bright, then dark again, and bright and dark. And most of the time that will look good. This looks pretty fine. And that's only with one effect. I'm gonna try to disable that and do a second one. And this is also just using one effect. So we're gonna take tint. I just have a red tint already. You can just go up here, change that. And we're gonna animate the color. And I'm gonna start it on the second frame again. Like that. And we're doing the same thing, so just making it go from white to red to white to red, and then ending it at white. And it looks like this. You can try to see how it will look with both the tint and the invert. Oh, you can't see this at all. Oh, it looks the same. So if we put the tint underneath, then we get something different. I guess that could kind of work. Or just something like that if we delete one of the reds. Maybe we can leave it like that. So we layer a few effects, but this is nothing specific. As long as you think it looks good, then you can use it. Don't have to stick to any certain effect. And I'm gonna disable both of these again. And just remember that you can just do one with invert or only with tint or so on. You don't have to use multiple effects if that's too difficult. Now we're gonna do with scan lines. So I'm taking scan lines. I don't know if BCC scan lines has the mix with source or anything. Oh, I guess it does. So you can use either one of those. With the S1 you just need to change the line sharpness. So we can do with that. So I'm just gonna do from 0 to 5 like we've been doing. So just turning the effect on and off a few times. And this would be like very subtle. Let's try to enable the invert and see. That would kind of work. And also invert. It looks a bit more interesting when we're adding multiple effects. But like I've said many times, you can do with only one effect. Now I'm gonna do one with glint. Let's take that. Decrease that a bit. But these are all really good effects to use for one framers. I'm just trying to give you a few examples, so it's not too difficult to get started. 5, might as well use the same. So we get this type of flicker. Maybe we could also make these frames a bit darker in between. Most of the time I don't add too many things on those frames, but we could. Maybe some brightness effect. Brightness and the contrast. So if we do like minus 50, that should be enough. So minus 50 there. And that should give us a bit more impact. Let's see. Yeah, that looks quite a lot better. I'm trying to think if there's some other effect I should show. Maybe with halftone. There's also something else you can do instead of just using the effects for one frame. And that is, wait, you take the mix with original and just animate it over time. So like that. You can add a fade or just leave it as linear. I think I want to use a linear fade for this. And then I'm gonna enable everything else that we did, and hopefully it somewhat works together. Okay, so it's the halftone is making it a bit too dark, so I'm gonna try to put that underneath everything, so it just gives some texture like that. Looks pretty good. I'm not sure if it's lagging or if I'm just seeing things. Let's try to pre-render. That looks okay. So hopefully you get the idea of how to make that with these types of effects. And I'm also gonna show with warps, and then also one with blur mode curves, like the offset ones you see a lot. I'll show that one first, so just gonna take this one with tile. Put some shutter duration on it, maybe 0.5. And then we take Shift Y or Shift X would also work. And just put it to 0.5 and then 0, like that. I think the shutter duration works pretty well on this. If we remove it, then we don't get any type of blur, which can be good in some instances. Let's try with something lower. We can also do the blur manually with a directional blur. Gonna take the sapphire one, just the default, and then change the angle so we get it going in the right direction. Then blur amount at 50 is fine. And we're just doing the same thing that we did earlier. So 0, 0.5, 0.05 and then 0. I don't know what, that looks a bit strange right now. Let's just move it here to the end, because that's probably the most common way to use it. So I hope this doesn't get confusing when I'm deleting so many keyframes here. So we just have it at 0 and then 0.5, and for the blur 0 and 0.05 at the end. So it's like a transition now. I don't know if it works that well for these clips, but normally you do something like that with it. But I think that would look a bit cooler with warp transform. So if we just take warp transform and then change the Y scale. Like that. So from 1 to 2. Yeah, that looks better. Could maybe do some type of shake with that also. Let's test. So I'm gonna do just a small amount. Like that. Looks pretty nice. Oh, I forgot to mention also that I'm doing this in 15 FPS, like you can see here. And it would also work really well in 24 FPS, but 30 might be a bit too much. So, because you can like barely see if you're doing an effect on one frame in 30 FPS. And then you might wanna extend them, like so it's 2 frames instead of 1. And you can do that also with 15 FPS or 24 if you want the effect to last a bit longer. I don't know what else to show, so I'll just end it here. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.